Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Binman and today we are talking about Brushes 101, or the first 5 brushes that you should invest in when building your makeup brush wardrobe. So let's get started. The first brush that I'm going to recommend is going to be a foundation brush. So let's kind of talk about a couple things when it comes to choosing the right brush for your foundation and just kind of brushes in general. Most of the brushes made in the United States are now synthetic. So synthetic brushes mean that they aren't natural hair. If you have natural hair brushes, then those should be only used with powders, otherwise it's going to suck up the makeup material. A synthetic brush can be used with creams, liquids, and powders. So they're very multitasking and you can use them with anything. When you are choosing your foundation brush, think about a couple things. The fluffier your brush, the less product you're putting on the skin, the more diffused it is going to look. The denser your brush, the more product you're putting on the skin, and the fuller it is going to look. So if you have a medium to full coverage foundation and you want the foundation to be on the fuller coverage side, then you don't want a fluffy brush. You want something that is denser and probably more flat on the top. If you have a medium to sheer coverage and you want more of that natural, I just woke up like this look, then you want something really fluffy like the Sephora collection number 55. This is the one that I use all the time. I do have a fuller coverage brush from Bobbi Brown, which I use on occasion if maybe I'm doing like family photographs, or if I'm having like a little bit of a bad skin day or something like that, then my medium coverage foundation can go a little bit fuller coverage with just changing brushes. So keep that in mind when you're choosing what kind of brush you want. Your tools are supposed to enhance and help you. They're not supposed to fight against what you're looking for. The other nice thing about going with, or something that's really nice about going with a fluffier foundation brush, is that it can also act like a finishing brush. Sometimes you can lay down your blush a little bit too heavy, whether it's powder or cream or liquid, and going in with something nice and fluffy, again, is just going to diffuse that look. It's going to take down the sharpness or the heaviness of the pigment, and it's just going to lightly diffuse everything that you've put on your face. So sometimes at the end of an application, I will just lightly kind of make sure that everything is blending into one another, and I wouldn't do that with a dense brush. I would do it with a fluffy brush. So just something to keep in mind too when you're looking for your foundation brushes. But I would definitely recommend your first brush be a foundation brush. The second brush that I would recommend is going to be another complexion brush, and it is going to be a multitasking powder and blush brush. This one is from MAC, and it is kind of a flatter brush, so it picks up powders really nicely. It definitely has kind of a triangular cutout to it towards the tip, but it's also rounded at the top too. So again, it's dense, but it's fluffy enough that it's not going to just deposit the pigment on your cheeks or the powder on your face and then like, oh no, what am I gonna do kind of thing. This is a really nicely made brush, and if you wanted to use something like this for contour, you can literally just squeeze it and flatten out, put it under the cheekbone, and then just kind of let it fluff out again and really blend that line out so it looks a little bit more natural and a little less like a line on your face. So something like this is just going to be a great multitasker in your makeup brush arsenal. Again, you can do powder, you can do cream, liquid, if it's synthetic, and you can do blush as well. So, you know, you're going to be using this part of the brush, but again, if you want to do more of that contour, you can just squish it and use the tip of the brush. And that is my second recommendation for your brush. brush that I'm going to recommend is an eyeshadow brush. This is again, kind of like a medium dense eyeshadow brush. This is the 217 from MAC. It is famous for a reason. It is like the ultimate eyeshadow brush. I feel like no matter what kind of eye shape you have, what kind of lid space you have, this is a brush that you need. BK Beauty also makes something very similar. I haven't tried it, so I'm not sure how it compares, but I do love all their other brushes that I own. So if you didn't want to go with MAC, then that would be a really great option as well, and I will link that below too. But the 217 it's pretty flat. It's a flat brush, but it's tapered, but it's also the way that it's cut. It's kind of cut like this. So again, it's going to diffuse, but you're also going to be able to really pack on that pigment if you want to. Now, something like this, you're going to need to do some multitasking. For your all over shadow or laying down the color on your lid, you're going to use the side of the brush. For your crease, you're going to use more of the tip. And if you want to like smoke it out, then you're just going to use this top angled part of the brush. Something you want to think about when you're starting to play with your makeup brushes is just because it's labeled one thing doesn't mean it can't function as many other kinds of brushes. And also, just by changing the angle and how you're holding the brush will change your application. So if you're doing your eye makeup and you feel like something just isn't working, it's either probably how you're holding your brush or you're using the wrong brush. So just kind of play with, when makeup artists do your makeup, they're coming at you directly like this. So if you are holding your brush like this, it's going to be a completely different application than if you come at your eye from like top down. So think about that as well. You might just be kind of flattening out your look by how you're holding your brush, but my recommendation is going to be something like the 217 from MAC because it is going to do all the work for you, and that's what a brush is supposed to do. The next brush that I'm going to recommend is going to be a pencil brush. Now again, this one is from MAC and it is so well loved that everything has been rubbed off. But something like this is super, super tapered. It's quite dense, but it's not so dense that it hurts when you put it on your eye. And a pencil brush can be used in a couple different ways, just like all the other brushes. You can use this on your inner corner to put a little bit of glow on the inner corners of your eyes. You can use this to soften your liner. I do this all the time. I'll put my gel liner down with an angled brush, and then I'll go in with a pencil brush, put some shadow on top, and that just really softens the line of the liner a lot, especially for daytime. You can also use this as like more of a definition kind of a brush. You can use it under your lower lash line to give you more of a defined eye. You can also use it to really pack down that outer third part of your eye if you want to do more of a smoky eye. When you're using a really dense brush, it is very important that you follow up with something like the 217 or something even fluffier. Because a brush is dense, it is going to just like put down that pigment. So especially when you're doing eye looks, you want to put down the pigment with something really dense like the pencil brush, and then you just want to pull at the edges with something like the 217. So that's just kind of a tip for you. But a pencil brush, at least three different uses that we just talked about, and it is going to just make your makeup application look so much better, and you're going to be able to do so many more looks by just having an extra eye brush. The last brush that I'm going to recommend is going to be something like this. So this is a BK Beauty brush. It is the number 108, and for those of you who don't know, BK Beauty means Be Kind Beauty. It is a wonderful company run by a really amazing woman. I'm going to link her YouTube channel down below, and the whole brand is about being kind to ourselves and being kind to others in the beauty industry or anybody who uses makeup. And it's just, the quality of the brushes is incredible, and it's a really good price point, so I have nothing but good things to say about this company. But this brush is being labeled as a precision powder brush, but it is synthetic. So synthetic brushes, remember, can be used with liquids, creams, and powders, which means that you can use it for powder underneath the eye, but you can also use it for your concealer brush. So it is definitely a multitasker, and this is shaped like a, lots of sponges that are out there, kind of a teardrop shape, and it kind of acts like a sponge. But the nice thing about having a brush is that you can clean it really well. You can use it in a professional capacity, and you will keep this for much longer than you will a sponge. So just keep that thought in the back of your head. But if I've done my concealer too heavy that day, I will go in with this rather than my regular concealer brush, and I will just tap that and pick up any excess that I've laid down, and then I will just gently swipe that away, and it does act like a sponge. It is amazing. This also works really well around the nose area. It works really well just kind of getting that kind of like upside down triangle right here, and also on the chin. If you are more of a powder highlighter girl, then this is going to be a beautiful brush for getting kind of this outer V right here on your bone structure. I mean, there's just so many uses for a brush like this. Again, it can be used with liquids, creams, and powders. So again, because it is labeled as a powder brush, you don't just have to use it as powder. You can use it with other things, and you should, because it's a great brush to have in your makeup brush wardrobe. I hope this video was helpful on the first 5 brushes that you should really invest in when you are getting into doing a full face application. Could you swap certain brushes out for others? Absolutely. But this is just kind of like the basics, like you're just getting into makeup, or you want to maybe like amp up your makeup routine, or maybe you're just really curious about brushes and how to use them. I do have a blog post on this as well, which I will link below, with some more tips and tricks for each of the brushes. And again, everything is always linked below, so feel free to click or comment and ask me questions. I'm happy to answer anything. But thank you for watching. I do beauty videos on Fridays. I do fashion videos on Wednesdays. Blog posts for pretty much all of the videos that I have out there. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like button, and I will see you very soon. Bye!